Well, the abomination of Wheel of Time is gone, and we've covered Brandon Sanderson's response. He actually threw these people under the bus for not consulting with him and actually not respecting the lore of the original Robert Jordan books, which are some of my favorite books of all time. I've actually read the series 3 times, which is crazy with the amount of words those are. Unusual for my reading habits, but I love it a lot. The character Randall Thor means a lot to me, and I love what Robert Jordan did. And so this, when it came on the air, was so painful for me. It was just, I can't even state that, a lot of people talk about how they hate Rings of Power. As a Lord of the Rings fan too, I hate Rings of Power, but this was next level. It really was. It should have never gotten past first season. It should have never gone to 3. Should have never been greenlit. Oh my gosh. And that is something that, of course, Amazon is paying a lot of money for no reason. And he now, our showrunner, our favorite guy, Rafe Judkins, who turned this in to a intentional LGBTQ propaganda show, has responded to his canceling. Let's get into this and talk about this whole setup over the last week as the drama is unfolding in just a moment. Please hit the like and subscribe button. This is your Real Fantasy News, my friends. Glad you're here. Thank you for being here and supporting us as we call out these mainstream orcs for doing what they do in destroying great fiction over and over and over again. And I am a science fiction and fantasy writer myself. If you like Wheel of Time, I hope you'll check out my For Steam and Country. This is a 6-book series. It's not, I wouldn't call it epic fantasy. These are regular sized books because I actually just don't like holding those 1,000-page books. It's terrible. That's just me. You can't, how do you even hold them up? Like, you have to kind of like lay it on a table, and it's just uncomfortable to read. That's just my opinion. But anyway, these are really fun books. Action, adventure, fantasy with optimism, and of course, just that sense of wonder that you used to get from fantasy. It's about an airship crew who goes out and fights monsters. That big war embrews, embrews. That's not a word. But yes, I'm a writer, not a YouTuber. But that's what I do here, and I think you'll really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun, and I hope you'll check it out. It's in the description below. Grab this, support our channel this weekend. It's available on ebook, print, and audio for you. Thank you guys so much for reading. All right, so Wheel of Time showrunner Rafe Judkins, who admitted earlier this year he turned this show into a vehicle for LGBTQ plus propaganda, the plus is for pedophile, has issued a lengthy statement to response to the show being canceled by Amazon. Now, this is after Brandon Sanderson finally responded to all this, which was a lot of fun when we watched this. So let's see what he says here. He says, I've been asked the same question many times last week. Why was the Wheel of Time canceled? Yes. And the truth is, I don't know. I wish I could say something clear and tidy that explains to all those who love it and why it's coming to an end, but sadly, I can't. I can. The ratings are terrible. Nobody's watching it. We've seen that this show just bombed, especially with the sort of break it had between seasons. I mean, it was just stupid. Now, I was shocked that it kept continuing even after all the controversies that have surrounded it. The Wheel of Time general fan base hated it for the most part, and they just kind of went off the rails and tried to do their own thing and make it their own and make it his own little lesbian Moraine Suyan drama, which nobody wanted. Period. I mean, the book is about Randall Thor. It really is. Jeez. What I can say is that the actors and crew on our show are most talented and wonderful group of people I've had the pleasure to work with. And we've all been incredibly lucky to make something that not only was beloved by the fans and the critics, but yeah, this is pretty, even the critics right here. And he's talking not about critics like, people who are paid critics for show websites that Amazon Prime pays to like give reviews of the show to make it look like the show's good. He means people like us here who are talking about how this show is something that's an abomination to the Robert Jordan universe that he created. And it is. And so he's got the ha in there. And he knows when he's making a statement like this and he actually addresses that in parentheses like this, it's always, the parentheses thing is always a very feminine, passive-aggressive way to do things, and it's the sign of somebody who has a lot of lack of confidence in what he's saying right there. Always, George R. R. Martin was doing this the other day, putting in parentheticals about his whatchamacallit, Winds of Winter, and just ranting about people who don't, want to hear about any of his other projects in passive aggressively. And that's what this is. This is a passive aggressive, because he understands that there's far more people critical of the Wheel of Time Abomination than there are people who actually like the show. And so that's why he's got this right here. It's a big deal. And so if you look at what is going on with Wheel of Time, we can easily see that people rejected this show big time. As much as there's a little bit of a fan base for it that likes it, this was something that was universally hated. It did not have good ratings. And why he says, I don't know, it's pretty obvious. I don't know why these people act like this and go, well, I don't know what happened. It's like, why don't you just be honest and say the ratings aren't there? People didn't like this show. They didn't tune in, and that's that. Amazon wanted us to have a level of ratings that was way higher than this. And that's it. Yes, the critics loved it. They gave it an 88% Rotten Tomatoes score and a 97% on the third season. Yes, the shills loved it, but the people were not watching it. They tuned out from the minute of the get-go because they understood that this did not do honor to the lore. Here we are. It was watched by huge numbers of people all over the world, appearing in the Nielsen Top 10 for nearly 20 weeks, a feat few shows have been able to match in the last decade. Of course, but he'll continue on. Don't worry, guys. Now, this is exactly what happened. We actually have the numbers for you because this is what we do on Fandom Pulse. If you're not on my Fandom Pulse Substack, this is the place to be. I'll put this in the description below too. But when the show debuted on Prime Video, it's a 3-episode premiere, recorded 1.163 billion minutes viewed. That's 3 episodes, right? So it sounds like a lot, but you divide it by 3 episodes, and that's something a little lower. Season 2 only did 515 million watched, okay? And then season 3 also debuted 3 episodes, okay? Was 534 million minutes viewed. So when you look at this and you see this sort of deal that goes on here, and you look at the cut in half, you are looking at an amount of people who are watching this is per episode is only 178 million minutes. That's pretty low for a season premiere. And so it looks big because there's 3 episodes, and that's the deal. And Nielsen, in collaboration with Variety, reported the show failed to reach its top 100 most watched shows in 2024-25. So this is a big deal. Failed to reach the top 100. That's not a lot of people watching this. It did manage to tie for 98th in the most watched shows in the 18 to 49 demographic. 98th. So it's pretty far down there. This is not a lot of people watching it, like they said. To put that in perspective, Prime Video's Reacher was 8th on the 18 to 49 with 5.9 million viewers. This had 1.9 million viewers. So this is on par with Doctor Who, right? And so Doctor Who, of course, we know has the lowest rated record for Doctor Who episodes ever. It just got canceled. The star just left. Lots of problems on that level. And that is showing just how bad and low this is actually going. So that means Wheel of Time performs 70% worse than Reacher in the age demographic, okay? So that's a big deal. And it did 17.3 million viewers among all age demographics, okay? Huge decline. Not a lot of people were watching this, and it's a very expensive show to produce. It also performed worse than other Prime Video shows in the 18 to 49, including Invincible, which is an animated show. Crazy. Of course, Rings of Power did better than it. Beast Games, Cross, On Call, The Bondsman, and Secret Level. Wow, Secret Level crushed this. That's crazy, just on that level, too. All right. So as often is the case in the current economic environment, the reasons were financial. The series is likely creatively liked creatively by the streamer's executives, of course. So this was a failure. One of my core goals in making this show, even from the earliest crafting of the pitch, he says, was to tell the whole story, which even though it really was off the rails, because the Wheel of Time books do what the television has always done best. They get better as they go. I don't know about that. I'd say the first trilogy is really the best. But whatever. I think most fans feel that way too. But hey, as our actors and team come on board, they could see the potential if we were allowed to finish this incredible story. We made many sacrifices, both personal and creative, along the way to get that ending. So coming up short feels like a devastating blow for all of us. Oh, wow. But he also made it clear that they were not trying to be faithful. And we've said this before on the program here. This is their deal, talking about how it's so important for him to have a queer lead, which was not part of the Wheel of Time, obviously. And, of course, he talked, and this is all about pushing Moraine and Suyan into a lesbian relationship that's overt, and it's pretty crazy. And he goes, why am I telling this story? I devote my life to this for years and years. It was worth my life to telling this beautiful story, but also that the lead is a queer character. I've never seen a fantasy show where our lead is casually a queer character and wasn't only directed to the queer community. To have that was an important part of why I wanted to tell this story and why I fell in love with the books in the first place. Well, Moraine was not the lead in the storyline, and she was not shown as a queer in the storyline either, so it's absolutely ridiculous that this is going on. He goes off on calling it gay-coded through this whole way through here, which is really obnoxious on here. And he says 30 to 50% of the people in the world of the Wheel of Time are probably not straight, which he claims Robert Jordan said. I've not verified that anywhere, so I don't know about that, but that's what this guy says. Okay. So further, much has been written about this larger trend in TV towards fewer seasons with less episodes, finding quicker ways to acquire additional streaming subscribers. But I genuinely believe this goes against the fundamental strength of television, long-form storytelling. It's an art form like epic fantasy, which at its very best gives people a place to go and spend time with the characters they love year after year. And I believe there are executive studios and networks who know that. I believe we will find our way through this current iteration of the industry and get back to what we must, bringing great characters to people's living rooms and lives every week. Now, he's right about this. The whole streaming environment is pretty bad on this level, and it has shortened things. It creates this setup that is just not conducive to good long-form storytelling, even though they're increasingly moving towards long-form storytelling. But it's also that every episode doesn't feel like a full episode at this point anymore either. I mean, back in the day when you'd have different things, let's go to fantasy, I guess, for example. Let's go to Highlander. You guys remember the Highlander TV show? I loved that show. That show always had a beginning, middle, and end. And while the characters would kind of progress through the series and change a little bit over time, you would have like that beginning, middle, and end. If you tuned into an episode, you could just watch it. That's what's missing from a lot of television these days. And you want to talk about great characters. Well, stop trying to change the great characters. Stop trying to make them in your image as a queer Hollywood whatever, because that's causing a lot of problems in every single TV show as well. We're sick of it. We are done with it. We are annoyed with it. It's not fun to watch, and we just want to watch something that doesn't have gay in it at this point. Is that so much to ask? Maybe they'll get back to that now that all these things are failing, and it is failing because we've proven by the numbers that this was a disaster of a show. Did not appear in the top 100, 98 in the demographic that they like or whatnot. And demographics don't even matter anymore because it's not really about the advertising revenue. It's about the subscription services at this point. So if you're not driving more subscribers, you are failing. And that is exactly what Wheel of Time did because they tried to change the beautiful books far too much. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Check out my fantasy guys if you like my thoughts on writing and the like. I think you'll really enjoy my Adventures of Baron von Monocle series. I would love to make this into a TV series. Just call me Rafe. But I'm not going to sign if you want to make my characters queer, I'm not going to sign a contract because I'm not going to allow that to happen. And that's my guarantee here. If I ever get a streaming TV contract or anything like that, I will never sign it. I don't care how much money it costs, but I will not allow my characters to be bastardized like this. That's right. All right. Thanks, guys, for being here. Thanks for reading, and hit the like and subscribe. We'll be back soon.